welcome back to the Anime Iceberg. I'm Megan.
And I'm Meg.
And today we're talking about Dr. Stone, episode 62, Dr. X.
Yeah, this is season 4, episode 4. And in this episode, the search party narrowly escaped enemy machine gun fire. Unfortunately, the respite was short-lived.
And this is manga chapters 150, Righteous Science User, and 151, Dr. X.
This is an exciting episode, so let's get into it. So Senku and the gang are fleeing the shooter still and kind of talking about what just happened. They're like, there's another scientist that has been revived, and likely revived on their own. And they're more advanced, at least on the military front, as they have just seen, because they have machine guns. And that's not all they have, because from the sky comes a plane. And it is both like the coolest thing ever and also the scariest thing in that moment. But Senku's like just completely in love.
That's the only time we'll ever see infatuation cross his face.
Yeah, he's like, I must have that. And of course, whoever is in the plane also has like another machine gun and tries to take them out, and they do manage to overturn this speedboat. So all of the battle team is in the water now. The lab gets shot up, but it's fine.
Yeah, it has a lot of metal on it.
Mm-hmm. And Senku and his quick thinking, he makes some acetylene, and they use Kirisame to throw it at like the engine of the airplane, and the plane goes down.
Yeah, in the manga, Senku mentions calcium carbide is used as fuel for gas welding, so he was planning on getting to the welding stage of their little industrial revolution. But later in the episode, somebody else confirms that if you mix calcium carbide with water, you get a pyrophoric weapon, and we'll get into that science later.
Yeah, and then we see, so the plane goes down, and we see the guy, and he looks so cool. Like, let's be real. Like, seriously. I mean, we already knew who it was, but, like, if you hadn't, like...
Well, the first time we watched it, I think we both went, whoa!
Yeah, we were like, that's so awesome.
Who is this man?
And then we see that he's talking to somebody else, and they appear to be the scientist, because they know... They
start rambling about the science behind the gas that was used.
Yeah, and he's like, the other guy's like, shut up.
It's like, cool, whatever, moving on.
Mm-hmm. Of course, the Kingdom of Science goes after the plane, because they want to see who's in it.
Mm-hmm.
But when they find it, this guy's already left. And so they're like, all right, we're going to steal the plane. And Senku and Risui are, like, so excited.
I love how the animation changed on them.
Yeah. They're like, well, if he's left it here,
might as well take it. It's funny, because later in the manga, Gen calls Senku out on it. Like, you were so excited when you saw that plane. And Senku actually seems a little bit sheepish that he was that obvious.
Yeah, he was like, I must. Like, he saw that thing, and he's like, I'm going to have that. So, they still want to find whoever this guy is that's trying to take them out. So they send Kohaku, Gen, and Chrome after him. Yep,
Chrome's got a little music note above his head in the manga for several panels as they're exploring the woods.
And Gen is tracking him, and he's like, wow, this is super easy. And then he's like, oh, this is too easy. So he tells Kohaku and Chrome to stay behind him, and he leaves a trail of petals. And he, like, must get far enough ahead of them where they can still track him, but...
The enemy won't see them.
Mm-hmm, because the enemy, he again catches up to him, and they have a little showdown.
Gen gets a pat down, he gets frisked and taken to their stronghold.
Well, he literally like touches his side.
Yeah, he probably just wanted to make sure there are no pistols on him. Because, let's be honest, this man could take Gen down in 2 seconds flat. But he takes him to, like, their base of operations, and I've seen memes where it's like, I wonder what the enemy's base is, and it's like, Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated. And you see, like, that big castle thing that they're walking up to.
Yeah. So the enemy takes Gen to the base, and of course they have a huge cornfield. And so Gen is very excited. And just everything is very, like, the base is huge, and they have a lot of advanced stuff going on because they've got tractors, and they've got, like, a whole factory.
A bunch of cows.
Yep. It was so funny when Gen saw the cows that he'd put, what kind of accent? It was like a...
holy mother of milk, they're even dairy farming.
Yep.
Brandon is...
Yep.
Awesome.
That was pretty good. He again gets taken to their leader, and this is when we meet Dr. X, or Zeno, as he is henceforth known, I guess. I don't think anybody really calls him Dr. X, we just call him Zeno. And he introduces the guy who is trying to shoot at them as Stanley Snyder. And he is former, well, he says he's former military, but now he's
working for Zeno. That is such an American comic booky name, Stanley Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as soon as we heard his name, I was like, his name is even cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The only thing that's not cool about him is that he smokes.
Right. That's why his lips are purple, probably. I don't think it's lipstick. I think it's oxygen deprivation.
I don't think it's lipstick either. Although, like, I will say he is, like, a pretty stylish guy. So
have you seen his eyelashes? My goodness.
Maybe he puts in the effort. I don't know.
Guys always have longer eyelashes, though. It's not fair.
Right. And Dr. Zeno, like, immediately shows off his scientific prowess by hooking up again to a kind of makeshift polygraph test. He puts his hands and feet in water, and then, like, puts his arm or, like, hand up to his neck so he can, like, feel his pulse. He questions him, and of course Gen is like, "You're gonna question me, the mentalist?"
Well, he thinks that.
Yeah, he doesn't say that,
I know that the manga makes a note of, like, Gen saying, I don't know, when Gen introduces himself to Stanley at first, he makes a point of saying, "I'm a magician from Japan." Mm-hmm. Like, he's like, I can't say mentalist. I can't let him know I have, like, that's the psychology background.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so he passes the polygraph, and I just like Stanley's line afterward. He's like, "You mean he's telling the truth? What a swell guy."
Everyone's on point this episode.
Mm-hmm. And this is when Gen decides that he's going to infiltrate the enemy base. And the very first thing he does is lie about who the guy in charge is, or their scientist. I saw this, like, manga panel, like...
Me too. Way before we watched it.
But it's so funny, because he's like, "It's Dr. Taiju." Yep. So he's gonna pin it on...
Well, somebody stronger than Senku.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he said somebody stronger than Senku, and then also somebody who's, like, willing to put his life on the line for Senku.
Yeah. It's cute. In the manga, back in the mobile lab, Taiju sneezes when Gen says that, and Senku's just like, "What?" in the background, and he's eating a burger, and on the top of the bun is, like, a little alligator insignia. Mm. I guess Francois labeled them.
That's hilarious. Burgers. Yeah, well, isn't there a thing that, like, if you sneeze, that means somebody's talking about you?
Yeah, that's in anime. My family always said if your ear is ringing, somebody's talking about you. Left ear was bad mouthing, and right ear was good stuff, I think. I can't remember the specifics.
That's funny. Well, then a lot of people are saying bad things about me.
It's always my left ear.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the end of the episode.
Yep. We finished a volume, so there was one Mecha Senku Q&A. Ginro placed a winning bet during Senku and Ryusu's game, so is he really rich now? And Senku says he gambled a bit too much in the casino afterward, and he wound up completely bankrupt.
Not surprising.
We have a new character to introduce, which we're super excited for. Stanley Snyder. He's played by Robert McCullum, who is Stain in My Hero Academia, Raina in Attack on Titan, and Mikoshiba in Free. Stanley's name? Stanley is of English origin and means from the stony field. which, how fitting. And then Snyder, his last name, is of German origin and can mean tailor. He's German like us.
Interesting. Well, Snyder is, very German. Yeah, and we have 2 honorary Get Excited. Gen said one when he was, like, mocking Senku, and then Dr. Taiju said it, too.
It was great.
Yeah, and then some science-y things from our
friend.
Not our friend, but the YouTube channel. Perry Chahal, I think it is.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Well, as we kind of mentioned earlier, when you mix calcium carbide and water together, it creates an exothermic reaction, which means that it's releasing heat, and it's just very highly flammable. So basically when they threw it into the engine, it destroyed it. I mean, it just overheated and destroyed it. And then another thing that he mentioned that I thought was interesting is that when Gen and Stanley meet, Gen, like, immediately puts his hands up, and because Stanley has a gun. And like, he pointed out that the Ishigami villagers who have, like, never seen a gun besides, like, the one that Senku's made, like, they wouldn't know to lift their hands up as, like, a term of, like, don't shoot.
Yeah, Chrome and Kohaku. Well, when Chrome was captured in the Tsukasa Empire, he knew to raise a white flag, so maybe they would have known something like that.
I mean, I will say, like, it does feel like a kind of natural
response.
Oh. Like, hey, I don't have anything, I'm not trying to hurt you.
Like a placating gesture.
Yeah, and then another thing, the makeshift, like, polygraph lie detector test, he noted that, like, just Gen's hands and, like, feet being in the water would have, like, warmed it up. And so it could have registered it as lying, which is interesting. I mean, I don't think they were focusing on that enough to make that really matter.
I would have paid attention to heartbeat more so.
Yeah, heartbeat, I think, matters more. I mean, yes.
Well, his heart would have been sped up anyway because, like, that's the just thing. Being under scrutiny.
Yeah, just, like, being in a stressful situation. And that's, like, why polygraph tests, like, part of the reason why they're, like, not reliable, because it, like, relies on, like, a baseline heart rate of, like, you just answering normal questions, like, what's your name, and who's the current president, and, like, stuff like that.
Right. Also, the thing that happens when they look at your eyes, they make, some of them watch your eyes to, if your eyes, like, dart to the left or right, it's like you're lying.
Go certain
I don't trust that either, because, like, I could lie to you, and I won't break your gaze because of that. I will break your gaze because too much human eye contact makes me uncomfortable.
Right. But anyway, what I was saying was, like, if you're nervous while you're, like, answering those baseline questions just because you're in a weird situation, then, like, the whole thing will be off and, like,
I would
not
be
really
completely registered as lying every single time.
Yeah, seriously. That would make me so nervous. Another thing that he said, which we kind of talked about a little bit, was that he should have said Dr. Kinro instead of Taiju, just because he said because Kinro has glasses, and so, like, they would have seen Kinro and been like, oh, he has to be smart because he's got glasses.
Well, Kinro also has, like, a measured way of talking.
Yeah.
He's intelligent in that he thinks before he speaks, but I don't know. I think Taiju's an okay choice just because Taiju's got some level of high school science under his belt. And he knows modern terminology. Kinro is a villager.
Yeah, I don't think Taiju knows anything. Besides, like, what Senku...
Well, he's gleaned from Senku over the years.
Yeah, has taught him. He remembers... Well, even, like, the things that he does remember, like, he doesn't remember why. Like, the throwing, like, the salt or whatever in the soil. He was like, I remember you said to do this or something, and I don't know why. But honestly, I think either would have been a good choice.
Yeah.
And, like, who knows how long they're gonna have to keep that up anyway. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, also fun announcement. We are gonna make some of the drinks from episode 2 of this season.
I'm really excited for this.
Yeah. And
the only experiment that'll be, like, maybe not 100% successful, but at least I know I'm going to enjoy some of them.
Yeah, so I think that'll be coming out this week, actually.
Hopefully, yes.
If we can get it done.
If our editor, me, gets it done.
Yeah, and then one other thing before we wrap it up is we started another show after finishing Lazarus, which we are definitely making a bonus episode about, so stay tuned for that. We started Negative Positive Angler. We're only 2 episodes in.
Yeah, you may have heard me mention that show on the podcast before, because I was watching it around the same time you were preparing your dissertation. So it's technically a sports anime, but all of the warm fuzzies that go with that are there, except it's a little more serious and the characters are older than high school.
We're only 2 episodes in, so I don't have a
You don't have much opinion.
I don't have a strong opinion about it. Megan, what was your favorite line?
Mine came from Senku, and I'm not going to do this justice, but yes, we gladly accept this in the name of goodness and righteousness, when they found the plane.
My line came from Stanley when Gen was surrendering, and he's like, I'm just a magician. And Stanley was like, I can tell from your body. Seems only your fingers are adequately developed.
Ouch.
Immediately coming in with the burns.
Yes. Meg was hoping to someday do a cosplay of Stanley. We will definitely share pictures if she does, but are you going to try to be a little snark when you're dressed up as him?
I don't think I need to try to do that.
Good, you'll embody your character. I was hoping to go as Sino from Genshin Impact. I'll embody his awkwardness and cringiness.
I was just gonna say, I don't think you need to try that hard.
I set myself up for that.
Okay, anyway. Stay tuned for that, possibly. We are going to another Comic-Con and we will be cosplaying.
Oh, yeah.
What we're gonna be has not been quite decided yet. Anyway. What do we learn in this episode?
Finders keepers.
And who pushed the story forward?
Kirasame for making an amazing throw. I'm just so glad we could get her on this list, because I don't think she's been in that category yet.
No, she hasn't. I mean, up till this point, she was, like, on the bad side, and
right, and not really...
and there hasn't been much to do since she switched sides.
That's true. But I really like her.
Me too. Hopefully we get to see more of her later. All right. That's all we've got for this episode. We will be back next week with a new episode.
All right, bye.
Bye.